Here's Everyday Woman.
I can't believe the number of people who are breaking bank to look like their favorite celebrities with plastic surgery. So I wanted to open the dialogue and check in with you guys about this.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because if I had the money, I would do it.
Oh my God. You got a point there. You got a point.
Hold on. First of all, I'm 24, okay? The last thing I want to do is blow all my money on my face, like just to look like a celebrity.
I'm 24 too, and I don't want to do that.
I wish I was 24 and I had your
But there are 24-year-olds and younger doing this. So this is what just floors me. I don't understand why they would spend this money.
Okay,
it's ridiculous.
Here we go. You know me. And that's why we have young women who have low self-esteem, who look for love outside of themselves because they're spending money or they're trying to look like something that they are not. And as a society, we have the tendency to perpetuate that. And as a mother of teenage daughters, I'm highly upset about it.
Well, I think it depends on the type of celebrity that we focus on. Because a lot of times what we get upset about are the celebrities that are the Barbie doll look. Or, they're the perfect look. But there are a lot of female celebrities out there that actually, as I also have younger kids and I'm looking at them and who they idolize and who they're looking at, and I realize that there are more non-traditional celebrities out there now.
It's true, but the fact of the matter is, I feel like anybody who wants to look like someone else who really can't find happiness to themselves, I feel like you need to go to therapy.
Sorry, hold on. And has anybody ever said to you that you remind them of someone? The famous.
Well, a few people.
I'm not going to name drop. Has anyone ever said to you, oh my gosh, you kind of look like so-and-so, or you remind me of so-and-so? Has anyone ever said that you look like?
But so I'm going to change everything to make sure I look exactly like that person?
I mean, I don't believe it, but people say that I've gotten Shakira a lot, and honestly, even if I didn't look like Shakira, I'm not going to be like, oh, I have all this money, I'm going to go blow it on my face. No, honestly, it comes down to being low self-esteem, and it's ridiculous.
Madison, I'm not going to let you sit here and justify this by saying, oh my gosh, I look like Beyonce. But what I'm saying is, again, I think that's the mindset that we subconsciously put into women.
Exactly.
Saying,
it's the society. It's the media.
We subconsciously do that. So
they're publicizing
but we're focusing on the very small percent of people, one, who do it, and two, who have the money to do it.
But it's really growing where people who even don't have money.
I work in Beverly Hills, and that's where money's walking around all over the place. And girls that are my age are walking around like lips like this,
duck face,
and face like this. And I'm like, can we just be happy with ourselves,
but maybe there's something that they're not happy about with, because I mean, for me, it would be my forehead. If I could get Botox and I had the money, I would. I mean, I'm just being honest. If I had the money, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm trying to look like Shakira.
But that's you're absolutely right. We all do that on a very small scale.
Okay.
How many of you get facials?
I don't.
It's one thing to look. Be the best and like maintain yourself.
Correct.
But when you really, and there are people who really want to look like someone else, so they're going to change their nose, they're going to change their teeth, they're going to change their jaw.
Right,
but there's more people doing this.
But we're talking about people who focus on wanting to be like a celebrity or look like a celebrity.
Correct. And a lot of my friends that are my age, they all look up to somebody. Beverly Hills Housewives, the Laguna Beach girls, they're dyeing their hair, they're bleach blonding it, they're getting all of these injections in their face.
Why are young women doing that?
Because I'm going to tell you why. They're insecure. Because either they were messed up by their last relationship and it just made them feel really bad about themselves.
Felicia, they're messed up because every magazine that they see and every cover that they have, it has a person who
portrays to be perfect.
But that's not true. That's not everyday women.
It's not.
But I want to ask you, Anna, because you do transform people with makeup. I mean, it's not through plastic surgery, but you transform them through makeup. So, but do you find people who are confident who want that transformation?
Let me tell you something. Because of the, what I do, every person that sits in my chair has some type of insecurity. Yeah. You ladies cannot tell me that you are not insecure.
I'm insecure about something.
But I'm not paying $25,000. $25,000.
But if you have the money,
no,
even if I didn't, there are better things to spend my money on.
Exactly, like my college loans. Hello.
Exactly. All right. Well, there is so much more to talk about with this conversation. We're really heated, and next we're going to talk about. Do you look good for your age? What do you
Here's Everyday Woman.
All right, whenever I'm looking through magazines and they have older women, they always say, she looks good for her age. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's a compliment or not?
That's the worst thing you can tell a woman. Because that makes me look very
man. Makes you look like what?
I think any time anyone says you look good, it's a compliment.
Yeah, I think it's a compliment because when I'm in my 40s, 50s, and someone says, "Hey, you look good," I'll be like, all that products that went into my face was good.
Well, you're 24.
Okay, being the mature one in this group, I would take offense if someone told me, okay, I do look good. Let's put the disclaimer.
You do look good.
Yeah, I
You
would be
do.
offended if someone would say, "You look good for your age." What is that implying? That somebody's 70?
What would you want to hear?
But someone 70 can't look good?
But what would you want to hear if it was a compliment?
You look good.
Why
does
you
that
look
have to be
good.
my age? They don't tell a man, you look good
but
for your age.
That is true. I mean, we live in a society where age is a focus, especially when it comes to women.
Exactly.
But honestly, I have a friend who she is in her 50s. She has 4 kids, is a grandmother. And when I look at her, yes, she looks great for her age. But when I look, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. She looks great no matter what. She looks fantastic. But honestly, when I look at her and I look at her age, it just doesn't, I can't comprehend that she looks that good for her age. It's a huge compliment.
What's the disconnect? Okay, so she has all those accomplishments. What's the disconnect? Because
age catches up with you. You have wrinkles. All this stuff does catch up with you. And when there are women out there who, you know, when 50 is the new 40 and the 40 is the new 30, it's surprising that people can still, because my mom, she's one of those like, oh, at my age, I can't wear red lipstick. At my age, I can't do this and that with my hair.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
Because, you know, I'm always saying, oh, I have to dress age appropriate, and our producer always rolls me up about that. But there's a self-consciousness because I'm going to be 50 soon, and I don't think that I should look like I'm 14.
I'm going to say this.
So you got to balance.
I'm like, I completely agree because I know there are ladies who are more mature in their 60s and their 50s and they're shopping at Forever 21.
Right. And I don't like that. I hate that. Every time I'm at Forever 21, I'm like, can you please, there's a Macy's down that way.
Right, see, there you go, right?
Age discrimination. I can walk in there.
I'm just saying, really, you're going to wear those pink shorts up your butt in front of your daughter that's 21?
Like, you guys are hitting a chord with me, really, because I'm struggling with that. I have teenage daughters, and you know, today I came in that yellow dress, and my daughters told me to pick up that yellow dress. I was appalled because I didn't feel that was age appropriate for me to wear a yellow dress. And my daughters are saying, you know, Mom, you're not 80. And I'm thinking, what can a 80-year-old wear a yellow dress? They said, you know, have some liveliness to you. So I thank you for that because this really means something to me.
For me though, I'm 24, and I know y'all are gonna say I'm the youngest. I have nothing to worry about, but no, that's a lie because I wake up with bags under my eyes. And I know it's because of my stress and my work that I'm going through, but I'm constantly trying to find solutions to put like Olay and like just some type of treatment to help me prevent fine lines and wrinkles. And I'm 24.
Madison.
I'm 24. But
I saw you. You got this one for us.
You got this, Madison.
One because you know at some point, you have to start thinking about taking care of yourself. You're
24. And the other day I was babysitting this kid, and he was like, "Felicia, you look older." Oh. Stab in the heart.
That's definitely there. I mean, we do have to maintain ourselves and make sure we're taking care of ourselves. But the fact of the matter is there are plenty of women who, as they get older, are taking care of themselves, and they should be praised for that, and they should be highlighted for that, because there are a lot of women out there in middle America who have just decided, I'm too old for all of that, and I don't need to do all of that. And I say, why not?
Well, okay.
Say it, Madison.
Here's why not.
Let me write this down.
At some point, yes, you do. I do kind of agree with you when Stacy, when she says you have to be age appropriate. At some point, do you want to be 60 wearing 24-year-old clothes, running around with you? No, you don't. You don't. If someone says when you don't take care of yourself really well, you're gonna age.
Correct.
That's just the bottom line.
But it's
the thing is why we get so offended is because we get so wrapped up in our lives and we don't take care of ourselves. We don't take the time to take care of ourselves.
That is the good point.
And why do they put the age on women on magazines? Because those women, they have somebody on them all the time. And yes, they look great for their age because somebody is there on them, helping them look great for their age.
I just don't think that women should have all these rules like, oh, I'm this age now, so I can't wear yellow. You can wear yellow because you look fantastic in yellow. All right, ladies. So you know what? I do think we should take the compliments that are given to us. How about that?
Exactly.
We can agree on that, and we'll be back with more Every Way Woman.
Here's Every Way Woman.
We're back with Everyday Fitness, and with us is Dr. Anthony Britton, creator of the Roadmap to Wellness.
Anthony, tell us more.
Well, the roadmap to wellness is really just a guide for a person to be able to find a better life for themselves that they might be looking for. It incorporates the 3 pillars of diet, exercise, and then mental well-being and stress management.
Okay, so let me get that. Diet, exercise, and mental well-being. Okay, now as I was looking at the roadmap, the first one is identify areas of improvement in diet. Tell us a little bit about that. What do you mean?
What I mean is that a person doesn't have to suddenly adopt some whole new cleanse or way of eating. They don't have to switch it to be a vegan overnight or something. All they need to do is make one simple area of improvement anywhere. They could come up with fish Fridays, meatless Monday. They could change their breakfast, or they're going to have only salads for lunch and then keep the rest of their diet the same if they want. Whatever they've done that tweaks the diet is going to be a positive change. So they're taking the first step to be able to affect a positive change.
Okay, now I want you to explain this one. In step number 3, you say remove or accommodate for barriers. What does that look like? Because that sounds like a cop-out.
What you want to do is, well, first, step 2 is huge. We've got to be able to identify barriers.
Absolutely.
So if it's for, say, dietary purposes, if somebody has certain cultural beliefs or a way of dieting in their family, maybe they are an Asian family that has rice with every meal, and they're trying to eliminate their carbohydrates.
So they take the rice out of it.
Well, they're going to have to first recognize that's going to be a problem. I mean, that's a problem for dad.
Everybody loves rice. Okay, well, let me ask you this. I was curious as to why improvements in the mental state wasn't at the beginning of the list, because there's a notion that everything starts up here. Before you do your diet and your exercise, you start with your mental state. But that's like step number 8.
It is. For me, what I wanted to get across to people is to empower them by being able to address these other steps, being able to address the diet's a real thing. People know what they're eating. They know what food is. The mental state, sometimes people don't know that there's anything wrong with their mental state. They might not even feel that they're stressed. So they learn how to identify these other more concrete things. And by the time they come to dealing with their mental state, they've got some tools.
They put the picture together. Okay, so the roadmap is mental. If you get the mental, everything comes together. Anthony, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you. And if you want to get fit, don't let anything or anyone, not even yourself, get in the way.
Here's Everyday Woman.
Dr. Justin West, specialist in plastic and reconstructive surgery, is with us today to share how to make a woman whole again after a double mastectomy. So where does this journey begin, doctor?
So patients come to us usually either the same day or shortly after seeing their breast cancer surgeon, who's talked to them about what their cancer plan is going to be. So cancer, the options generally are a partial mastectomy, which can be associated with a certain type of reconstruction, or the full mastectomy, which is associated with a different type of reconstruction. So patients come to us and we start that conversation of what the options are that are available, and we sort of get a sense for what's important to them, what goals are they looking to achieve, and there's a range from relatively simple procedures to quite complex procedures. So really it starts with what does the patient want to do, what are their expectations, and then it gets into a more and more detailed conversation over time.
Now, Dr. West, I wake up from surgery and I look down and I'm horrified at what I see. How do you help me with my journey? I know there's options, but how do you help me, particularly with this advancement of the nipple saving?
So the nipple sparing it's an interesting question. When I started my training 10 years ago, or 12 years ago now, very few women were having their nipples saved as part of a mastectomy.
So pause right there a second, because I'm wondering what happens to your nipples then? Do you not have nipples?
I didn't even know you could save your nipple.
Right. So I'll help you put it in perspective.
Where do the nipples go?
So mastectomies have gone through a huge evolution in the last 50 years.
Okay.
The traditional mastectomy was a very aggressive surgery where most of the skin of the breast was removed, including the muscle. That's a very destructive surgery. Over time, the surgeons looked at this and said, well, can we save more? So they started saving the muscle and said, well, let's take all the skin still, but we'll save the muscle. The next evolution was, well, can we save some of the skin and we'll take less and less skin? Then the next evolution was, well, if we're saving all the skin, can we also save the nipple? You know, the nipple is an important point of the breast because the nipple really defines the breast. The breast
it's my breast identity.
Exactly. You know, I tell patients, you know, that it's almost like it's the icing on a cake. If somebody brings you, it could be a beautiful cake, but without the icing, you don't call it a cake until it has the icing there. The nipple really defines it. So I think that the tough part about a mastectomy, I think what makes it so scary and what's made it traditionally thought of as a very destructive surgery is the removal of the nipple. It completely changes the way the breast looks. So a woman looks down and says, oh my gosh, where are my nipples? Because it's such a defining characteristic. So over the last several years, you know, we've gone back and looked at, well, can we continue to push the evolution of mastectomy and save nipples? Well, there's plenty of data now that shows that you can. It's not for everybody. There's certain criteria that we use.
And what would those criteria be? How would I know if I can save my nipple?
The criteria is always evolving, but right now, in sort of the big picture concepts are, we're looking for small tumors, tumors that are far away from the nipple, so there's an adequate distance. The idea is this: if you have a cancer that's far away from your breast, or far away from the nipple rather, the cells may have not had a chance to reach the nipple because they travel through the ducts. Okay. If you have a cancer that's very close to the nipple, the odds are that those cancer cells have made it to the nipple. So if you were to save it, you're maybe leaving behind some cancer. If it's small and far away, the odds are you have a very good boundary, and so you've cleared a margin. In other words, it's with a small cancer that's far away, there's a very good chance that you'll have gotten rid of all the cancer, even though you're leaving some of the skin in the nipple.
Well, hopefully, in most cases, we can be able to save the nipple. But how do we decide what size we want to be?
So it's a very personal question. So we get patients who come in, and when I talked earlier about establishing goals, we have women who say, I want to look the same as I do before surgery. We have women who say, well, if I'm going to go through this, I might want to be a little bit bigger.
Do most women say that? I would feel like most women would be like, you know, I'm going to take this as an opportunity.
I'm not fabulous.
You know, it varies tremendously. If you have a patient who's used to be having very large breasts, some of those patients use it as an opportunity to be smaller. They're like our breast reduction patients. They say, gosh, if I'm going to go through cancer surgery, it'd be a nice chance for me to actually end up with a smaller breast that's not giving me back and neck pain.
So you've brought a few samples.
Yes.
I like those right there.
So
I'm interested in these.
Well,
Tell me more.
I'll walk you through the process. So for reconstruction, it's usually a two-part surgery if we're going to do an implant-based reconstruction. It actually starts with this device. This is called an expander, and you can
this is try it before you buy it.
Well, yeah, in a way.
Okay.
So what we do is the day of the mastectomy, the general surgeon leaves and the plastic surgeon comes in. So what we do is we start off for women who have chosen this type of reconstruction, because there are other types, but for people who want an implant reconstruction, we start with this, and it's basically just a balloon. It has a little port in it so that we can put a needle through it and fill it up. So the way it would work is your breast tissue would be removed. Then I would come in and place this inside you under your muscle and sew everything closed. You'd never see this. And we put a little bit of fluid in. So with a nipple-sparing mastectomy, you would look down, you'd see your nipple, and you'd see a little bit of volume inside this expander. You go home from surgery, and then starting about 2 weeks after surgery, you come into the office every 2 weeks, and we slowly inflate the expander. So the beautiful part about this is, I think, is giving control back to women.
Absolutely.
What this allows you to do is you can come in and you tell me when you're done. So we can expand you to the size you want to be. That could be the size you are now. It could be smaller or bigger, but you're in control, which is a really nice thing when you're going through this process where control's been taken away from you.
And you feel like everything around you is out of control.
Now, oftentimes, doctor, do you have to, a woman comes in and she says she wants breasts, and you have to say, no, she's not a candidate. How do you help the patient make that decision, or how do you do that?
I think every woman is going to be a candidate for some form of reconstruction, you know, unless they're...
Well, that's great news. Yeah. That's great news on that. I want to continue this conversation. Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on opening your new center, Finesse, in Southern California.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be back with more Everyway Woman. Stay tuned after this. Part of being an everyday woman is being able to do it yourself. Our favorite DIY expert, Yolando, is here with us today. So I just moved into a new place. I'm trying to spice it up, but on the cheap.
Well, what I would recommend doing is, let's say you have a frame laying around in your house. You could easily just go to the art store and get a little can of paint about this big and just repaint whatever you have, and that's going to give it a fresh, contemporary, modern, new look.
So if I don't have a frame lying around my house, where could I find something like this?
This, basically you could go to, let's say, a Goodwill. You could find it there for inexpensive. They have great ornate frames with all these little detailing. Or you could go to a flea market as well and find some cool pieces.
Really chic, and I love that it's almost distressed. How can I get that shabby chic distressed look?
Well, you could get a little bit of sandpaper with that and then just kind of slightly sand it, and that's going to give it that distressed look. So that'll give it shabby chic, and you can do it as a negative space perspective.
What does negative space perspective mean?
Meaning that the frame becomes the art piece within itself now that it's painted. So this now is going to be standing out, and whatever it's behind is just going to be the negative space.
All right, well, negative space or not, thank you so much. We'll be back with more great advice on Everyway Woman. Stay tuned.
Everyway Woman celebrates tomorrow's stars, and today we're here with Dave Getzoff to talk about the business of being funny. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, how did you get started in the comedian game?
I'm from Chicago, and my best friend, I was telling him a story. I used to be a summer camp counselor, and I was telling him a story about my day, and he was like, man, that's super funny, Dave. You need to do stand-up. And the next day I was in his living room performing, and they used to entertain a lot, so I started out in living rooms and barbecues.
Wow, so from telling a story to living rooms to barbecues to Hear It Every Way Woman Said.
To all the way here.
What is the comedian lifestyle like? I mean, what are the pros and cons?
A lot of not paid gigs, but just working hard and just making sure that you stay funny.
That's great. Well, you know what? I know that you're funny. So what we're going to do is, here's the man of the hour, Dave Getzoff.
Thank you.
Take it away.
Thank you. All right. I am also a teacher. I was laid off, though. Thank you for your sympathy. But it ended up working out for the best for me because I was able to find my real, true calling. After all the years in school and the talks with my parents, I have finally found the job that I have been searching for. Unemployment. I am up at the crack of 11:30, and I commute all the way to the kitchen for breakfast, and then I report to the living room for online training for NBA 2K14, and I read countless news articles on Facebook and Twitter. You know, and if I keep not performing like this, I'm going to be the unemployment employee of the month. And then just when I didn't think that my life could get any better, I got the most earth-shattering news that I was being rehired. I mean, you talk about just crushing a man's dreams. You know, it took me 32 years to find my path, and then you just fire me from unemployment like this. You know, and I was like, what am I doing wrong here? You know, if you give me another chance, I will show you that I can do less. You know, if 11:30 is too early, I will be there at 1. I will sleep all day if that's what it takes. But it didn't happen, and I was fired from unemployment, and I was really devastated, you know. Like you could see it on me. You know, I had friends coming up to me like, I heard you got rehired. Congratulations, and I'm sorry. But there is still hope, though, because they are talking about laying off another 5,000 teachers. And I like my chances. I do. I feel I have a good shot at it, and I was actually laid off last June. So I just want to say to all you hardworking taxpayers, on behalf of everybody on unemployment, thank you. You know, and I know you guys might be out late tonight, you might be drinking and everything, but I'm going to need you to go to work tomorrow. All right? I mean, you have responsibilities, okay? We both cannot be at home tomorrow. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Dave Getzoff. Thank you.
Wow, Dave, that
was amazing.
Thank you.
Make me want to be unemployed.
It's a great life. It's a great life.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you so much.
Every Woman gives back to the community. Go to everywaywoman.com to find out how you can match our donation of undergarments for children in need. We'll see you next time.